Hi, guys, and welcome to Being Becca Live. You guys, my lips are so dry. It's so dry up here all of a sudden. It's crazy. Anyway, so here we are at Being Becca Live. This is our Wednesday meeting where we all kind of gather together to discuss what the challenges are of being an autistic adult alive right now, not when research catches up. So as you can see, I'm still freshly out of the shower. My hair is still wet, but it's chilly here up in Colorado. It's definitely fall. It's definitely hoodie weather, and I love it. Makes me happy. I just thought I'd share that with you because I'm sort of in a little peppy mood today. Because I just love this weather. I love when the air is crisp and I can I don't know, I feel like I can breathe better. So I don't know, it makes me happy. Sorry for all of the adjusting. I sort of got that thing where we get hyper focused at something, and I knew I was weeding out the time for a live to start, but I was like, well, I got to do something to stay busy, and then I got all involved and I forgot. So I just switched over just now. But I've been ruminating all morning about what it is I want to talk about today. So I realized that more recently, I've done a few more rants than I usually do, or vent sessions, I would really say. But today's going to be another one, you guys, because when things truly rub me the wrong way, not just a little bit, but truly rub me the wrong way, I too can get into loops about the whole situation. Because I just am in whatever feeling I feel about it, and I can't kind of pass through it till I've properly processed it. So it's something I've been sort of ruminating about for the last, 24 hours, I want to say. So if you follow me on social media, particularly, I don't really use Twitter. It just automatically throws out my Twitter, but I don't really get on there because I don't really ever have anything that short to say. So I don't really use Twitter. But on my Instagram and on my Facebook, you guys would have seen a little response letter that I got yesterday. And of course, I protected the organization and the employee and did not call anyone out in particular, though it was extremely tempting to call them out. So what I want to do is talk about instead the issue itself, right? And hey, CV, thank you for joining. And I want to talk about stuff related to that thing. So here's what happened, right? I get something like, I don't know, I want to say these days, probably a little bit less because I'm not hustling as hard. So I'm getting, I get invitations to participate in panels, or do I want to go do this conference, or am I available to speak at this group, blah, 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 right? Well, that's my job. That's my job. That's what I signed up for. That's what being a consultant is about. And that whole jazz. So, that's like a genuine part of what it is that I do. So it's something that I get asked for quite often. What people are still surprised to find out is how often those people expect me to do this shit for free. Seriously, like hour and a half interviews, free, right? Or training sessions for whole states, free, right? And they don't use the word free because that would be, I don't know, too raw, too real, too truthful. What they do is say, oh, we are a small nonprofit, or we are a one-man organization, or we are a, a new organization starting out, a startup, or whatever the bullshit excuse is. And then what follows is a sentence sort of like this. Unfortunately, I would love to give you an honorarium. Unfortunately, sadly, I would love to pay you, right? It's some kind of line, some fake sadness. And then, but we are a fill in the blank, whoever we are. And we ask you to participate in exchange for exposure and promotion and marketing your services, right? Right. And that's how they come across. Like there's this gift in this thing. Well, here's the deal. When my lights turn off and I have to call the electric company and say, I only can write you a check in exposure. That's all I have in the bank is exposure. So can I write you a check in exposure? How about marketing? Promotion? Would you like a check in promotion? Right? But we can't do that because what we have agreed upon as a society is that the way that we exchange our value with each other is through money. And since that is the agreed upon societal thing, the electric company wants to get paid in money. And so if you want something from me, you are going to need to pay me in something useful to me, like money, because I have to pay the electric company. So I have electricity on my laptop so that I can do your little interview or whatever it is, right? And as you can see underneath my skin, I am seething, right? Like if you could feel the blood boiling probably in my arms right now, because I feel like I'm shaking inside. I am so angry because I don't understand how you can be a human being involved in any way, shape, or form in the autism community and without embarrassment and with little smiley faces, send me an email that you can't afford to pay me for what it is that you want from me. Well, if you want something from me, it clearly has some kind of value, or you'd be asking somebody else. But you don't want to pay for the thing that has the value. So here's the deal. This is my shout out to autistics. I want you to know there's a handful of advocates that fight this fight for all of us. Okay. There are a handful of us that will say no and decline events in which we are not offered pay, because that means that they're not offering pay to anybody, right? And if they're not going to pay me, they need to hear that that's unacceptable, right? They need to learn that lesson. And so I do that for the advocates that follow me, so that the next time those people ask an advocate to be a part of the panel, it occurs to them that perhaps they might consider a small honorarium instead of embarrassing themselves and insulting the other party, right? Like we're stupid. Right? Well, we're not stupid and we're not children. And if you're involved in the autism community, you should be well aware that we are not those things, and that we sit in your boardrooms and we're your researchers and we're your politicians. Like, get over it. We have value. You obviously want something from us. And if that's the case, you need to put the agreed upon societal stamp of payment on it, which is money. Not our choice. Autistics didn't come up with it, right? It's been going on long before us and will go on long after us. So stop pretending that that's not the case. Here's a heads up in an education for all the other younger or newer autistic advocates. You must request pay every time you are asked to do something. In other words, they write you that lovely email that says, oh, we would love you to participate in this wonderful thing. You'll be all over our social media, blah, 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 blah. It might even become a podcast. And all of these weird promises that they make us, right? And remember, when they say to you they're a small nonprofit or they're whatever and they don't have the budget for it, you say back, I'm really sorry then. I don't have the time for you, right? I don't do that. I don't work for free. I don't live a lifestyle that allows me to give away my time. Those are all real answers that I have given in writing to people, okay? You understand? Like, we get to push back. We get to say, no, that's unacceptable. Nonprofit organizations, and in fact, neurotypicals in general, right, have been exploiting autistic people for our truths, our vulnerability, our experience for years, nay, decades, right? It's time, it's over. It's time we stop. It's time that you're too embarrassed to send that email, right? It should be that embarrassing. And if you are a nonprofit leader and it doesn't embarrass you to have your employees send such an email, you should be. Two reasons. First of all, you are not listening to your stakeholders at all. And second of all, you're a shitty nonprofit leader. That means you didn't budget for training. You didn't budget for events. You didn't budget for speakers, neurotypical or otherwise. If you're telling me that your budget as a nonprofit does not allow for you to pay for speakers and training, then you are a shitty nonprofit leader, because that's supposed to be part of your budget. And your board is supposed to be making sure that's part of your budget. So you are either lying to all of us because you don't think we are worth your budget, right? We are a waste of your budget, or you're a shitty nonprofit leader who hasn't budgeted. Either way, don't really want to participate in your shit, right? You understand? It's really clear to me where this line is. And I want other advocates to understand. I want other autistics to understand. We get to push back. We get to say, no, I'm not working for free. All the experiences you want to have for me, I didn't have them for free. I suffered for them. And if you want to learn from them, you owe me. You owe me for my time, willing to be vulnerable and talk about the scary, challenging, uncomfortable parts of my life and sharing it with you. And if you want it for free or we're not in your budget, then bullshit. Bullshit on you, right? Because that is the worst response I can think of from a nonprofit leader. And even if it's not coming directly from that leader, if it's coming from their employees, that means that these nonprofit leaders have stamped their approval on it and said, yeah, send that email, right? Because your employees represent you. And if you don't want that kind of response back, best be checking on your employees that they're not trying to get away with shit, okay? Because we're not going to tolerate it anymore. We're just not. And if you are an advocate that says yes to free things all the time, I need you to ask yourself, why? Why? What is it? Are they making you feel small? Right? Do you feel like the opportunity is too big and the organization is too big to ask for the thing that you need? Do you not have enough experience asking for money yet? Right? I certainly didn't when I started, right? But people can help you with that stuff. You don't have to get walked all over in order to be an advocate. You don't have to say yes to free things, even if you're just starting. Okay? You don't. That's the fact. We need to start holding these organizations up to a certain kind of standard. And that means they don't get us for free anymore. They don't get us because they gave us a free ticket to their conference, right? That other people have paid a lot of money for, which gives them the budget to pay their speakers. See all of it happening? Right. Okay. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse anymore for me to be getting a response like that. No excuse, right? Now, sometimes I agree to do things for free. And I will tell you, they are very, very limited. But here's the things that I choose to do for free. If it's an autistic run organization, right? And they are saying, I want you to come talk to other autistics, I will do that for free. If it's a PTA, a local PTA to me, obviously, right? A local school to me, sure, no problem, right? If in fact it's a big enough podcast or a big enough organization that I am getting value back in some other way, that they are appreciating my value in some other way, right? Like I work with them in some other context, yeah, I might do something for them for free. We have a good, strong working relationship. But if you don't know me from shit and you email me expecting me to say yes to something for free, you are insane. I work 3 jobs. 2 days out of the week, I do autism advocacy. And if you think I'm giving you any of those 2 days for free, you are on drugs, crazy person. Okay? Like that's a crazy belief to have. I don't understand how you can be working in nonprofit that way. So I'm starting this thing where I've just decided I have to call it out every single time it happens to me, because I think people are still shocked by the frequency and the audacity of some of the organizations. I mean, I wish I could name them. I wish I could call them out, but that would make me a shitty professional. And I don't want to be a shitty autistic professional, right? I don't need us to have any more stigma. So I'm not going to do that, right? But think about it. I mean, I say no so strongly that like it's painful. And I want you to know where it's rooted. I want us to understand where all of it is rooted, because I am not free of guilt of saying yes to too many free things. When I first started, I too said yes to a lot of free things. First of all, I needed the experience and I knew that. But the other part of it is I didn't recognize my own value or know my own values, right? And so because I didn't really grasp my value to their situation, right? They walked all over me and got away with it all the time. But here's where we as autistics need to start in order to make sure that these people don't get away with it anymore, especially with our newer advocates, right? And they take advantage of these newer advocates with less experience, and we have to protect each other, right? So here's the lesson, newer advocates. You can say no and they will still come back. You can negotiate on prices and they will still come back. You do not have to say yes to doing stuff for free. Your time, period, just your time. Forget what it is you have to say or offer. Your time alone has value. They want to talk to you for an hour. That has an hour's worth of value to you. And what does that mean to you? How many spoons is it? What will you not be able to do for the rest of the day because you said yes to this thing, right? We need to honor the autistic part of it very, very strongly and set up some really good boundaries. Not okay to try and take advantage of disabled people. Uncool, especially if you're an organization for whom that particular disabled person is a stakeholder. What? That's insane. You're going to then turn around and ask that stakeholder to donate money to your organization. Where are they going to get it from if you're not paying them? Where do you think it's coming from? I mean, it's an insane idea. And so, autistics, you have to start on you. You need to begin to understand that you have value. Your experiences, your truth, your words, your advice have value, right? And the world has chosen to make money the way that we attach value to something. That is something the world has decided. So in order to attach to allow people to know that you have value, you need to attach a money to it, right? Because that's how the world communicates about value, right? And so when we do something for free, we are basically saying to the world, we don't have any value. Here's our time for nothing, right? Yeah, you're right. We don't have any value. And it's that low self-esteem, that low understanding of our value, that belief that we don't have something worth offering, right? That has allowed them to do this for so long. And when we push back and say, no, you want something from me, there's a cost, right? You want something from me, there is going to be a cost. And we need to stand strong in that. We just have to, right? Because if we want to be seen equally out there and we want accessibility and we want inclusion, we have to make sure that we know our value and that we know our values. What's important to you, right? Is it important to you to stand up and say, no, you can't walk all over us anymore? Or is that not a priority to you? And if it's not a priority for you, then why are you advocating, right? Then we have to question that stuff. But what I want us to do is to begin as a group to understand that we are human beings on the same level as neurotypical human beings, right? And if they are being paid to do something, we should be paid to be doing something. And if they are choosing to do something for free because they are being manipulated into doing something for free by somebody else, that doesn't mean that we have to lower our standards. Do you understand? I've been dying to say this all day because that happened to me yesterday. And then on top of it yesterday, I got lovely unplanned phone call from a said neurotypical in the autism world, right? An unplanned phone call to an autistic person is like breaking rule 1A, right? You clearly have no empathy or understanding of the autistic way of life when you do that. You haven't paid attention to what autistics have been saying for the last 10 years. You're just not listening. And what that shows us is that you don't really give a shit when you do something like that, right? So what that person got instead of a voicemail back was an email back saying, hey, I don't do unscheduled phone calls. When do you want to have one? Scheduled a phone call. To it was missed this morning. I sat and waited 20 minutes for my phone to ring for the important phone call that person had to ring right away without planning, right? No phone call came. Again, no understanding of the value of my time, the spoons that it takes to prepare for a phone call, no understanding of that, no respect for that. And what that means to me is I don't need to have respect back for you. I don't need to do anything to make you comfortable. I don't, because you didn't do it for me, right? So think about all of those things. Bring us up. Our level has to be risen as human beings. I love it when you curse, CV, because I want you to know that on my end, YouTube allows me to choose whether I should show or hide. So I don't get to see the comment, but I know that it was like, ooh, because I have to either show it or hide it. And I show it every time. So let's see. Oh, this is so shitty. Yeah. Okay. So, right here we are now. I've gotten shit on twice in 2 days. How many days of the week do I do autism stuff? 2 days. So both of the days that I do autism stuff after a decade of doing this, I get shit on twice in a row. Devalued, disrespected, correct? Unacceptable behavior. Unacceptable. Okay. And I say that and I become the person that nobody likes. And I become the big mouth who speaks directly because I have people to protect. I have advocates who don't yet know they will be advocates coming up behind me. I have ones that are trying and just getting started behind me. And by shit sure, I am not letting you folk take advantage of them any longer, right? So it's my job, right, as a senior advocate to stand in front and say, no more. You cannot have access to us for free so that you can build your organization and get more funds. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Right? And what I ask you guys to do is on a very personal one-on-one level, up your ante, man. Right? Say no to those things they're asking you for free. Demand at least $50, man. Demand it. I know advocates who pay out of their pocket to make sure that their panelists get paid something because the organizations that they work for will not pay the panelists. Do you understand how fucked up that is? It's so jacked. Oh my God. It so viscerally makes me angry that I can't even tell you. And I just want to call out. I really would love to write back to this nonprofit, and I think I might actually do it, and just write to the president of the board and say, hey, this was the response I got after being asked to do something for free. I think you guys really ought to consider, right? Because I and many others will say no to working with you if you expect us to do it for free. And if you get people to do it for free, you're taking advantage of them. That's what you're doing, is taking advantage of them. Right. And so it's not that I really want the money I don't want them to actually pay me. What I want them to do is acknowledge their fucked up, jacked system for doing shit. Right. That's all I'm looking for. I feel a little better. I really do. And I want to leave it feeling like what I've done is empower you guys, is empower you to know that there are ways you can respond to emails. And I'm going to list them again. When somebody asks you to do something, my first response is, wow. And I always do the neurotypical that you have to do in the beginning of the email, right? Yay, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for thinking of me. I was wondering, is there an honorarium for what you're asking me to do? And that's all that I say. And then I get the response back. It's like either, of course, it's going to be small, I'm sorry, or no, we can pay you back in exposure and marketing and promotion and whatever other bullshit fills the email, right? And at that point, I get to choose how I decline. I get to say, I'm sorry, I no longer live a lifestyle where I can give away my time for free, right? Or I'm sorry, the information you're looking for me has value and I can't give it away for free, right? Or I'm sorry, I'm not accepting unpaid gigs at this time. Right? There are plenty of ways to respond back and call them out and say no and put our foot down. And it's time. It's time as a group. We just put our freaking feet down and say no and ask for the money, right? Show me the money. That's what we should all. I'm autistic. Show me the money, right? Because it's not okay anymore. It's just not okay. I'm going to catch up in your chats really fast. And if this happens to you and you get stuck and you don't know how to respond, or you're scared to respond, or whatever, my email is info@BeccaLaurie.com. Got it? info@BeccaLaurie.com. And tell me, I will help you write a response. I will teach you how to do it. I will empower you with the skills via email for how to respond to these people. We don't have to say yes. We just don't. And if all of us say no, they will have to pay somebody, right? Somebody, okay? Because they've got the budget. Not having the budget is a lie. It's a giant lie. Or whoever's in charge would have been fired already, okay? The board would have fired them. So yeah, let me catch up over here. Let's see. People often message me on LinkedIn asking me to speak and write for no pay. Yep. Especially if the topic is obstacles, autistic faith. Yes, this was the case, right? That was the theme of the event, was overcoming obstacles. It's really, really hard to talk about that when you guys are the one creating the obstacles, right? It's insane. It's an insane irony that this is the kind of injustice that makes me, my whole chest tightens up over. And I just could, in my old days, I would have had a meltdown over it and looked for somebody to hit, because it's just so unfair that it viscerally makes me angry, really viscerally. Thank you for modeling this. I've been a token for large organizations and it felt gross. I didn't realize my worth at the time. Thank you. And that's the key, right, CV? We don't realize our worth. And that's why I keep saying to you, up the ante. You have value. You must up the ante on them. We must. Oh, I'm so glad you're finding it helpful, you guys. That's correct, Bill. It's been a history of bad precedent. That's what we're living in. And what happens with bad precedent is that it gets replaced with better precedent. So let's set it, shall we? Right? I mean, it's crazy. Absolutely. Now more than ever, we have to band together. People are seeing money to be made off of autism and people are being taken advantage of. Correct. Because we have now been capitalized upon. Right. And so we need to make sure that we make profit off our own autism too. Like, who are you people? Right. I mean, and it's just, I mean, okay. It's an obstacle not getting paid. Yes, it is. Correct. Let's see. Do you think a bunch of folks do these seminars for free under the hope that they will sell books and grade? Yes, of course they do, Bill. Absolutely. They do these seminars. We do these free things because we think that that's exactly the exposure that we need. But let me tell you, all of that shit, all of that exposure stuff is FREE free. You can get it all on your own without paying any organization or paying a price for it. It's all free. All of the exposure is free. All you have to do is sit down and create content and start sharing the shit out of it. What they're offering you is garbage. It's garbage. Okay? All of that is garbage. That one event with the one piece of exposure isn't going to get you anywhere. Now, if the United Nations or the World Health Organization knocks on your door and wants you to do something for free, and that means you get an in with a large organization like that, well, then maybe consider it. But little Mr. Boo-hoo, who's just a small national organization, right? That's not going to change things. And if you sell books there, let me just really be realistic about books, okay? I think that we make, it's something like $25 a year you make off of a book. It's like that, $25, because you get like cents on each book. So the person who's selling their books there may probably paid like $20 for each book that they have on their table. And if they're selling it for 22 or 25, they're making pittance. They'll maybe buy their own lunch with what they're selling their books for. Okay. So really be real about it. And then put it in the sense and reality of COVID. We're not having those tables with books being sold anymore, right? That's not happening. Everything is happening online, which is free. You can do it all by yourself. And they're not really offering you anything, right? Regardless of why you're there, if they have asked you to be there and you didn't say, oh, I'm going to that thing, right? They owe you. They have to pay you to be there. That's it. They're not even paying for what it is that you say or what you bring with you, or if people like what it is that you have to say. Literally, they're reserving your time, and you deserve to be paid for that. Let's see. Okay. I once received this message when I asked for a pay rate. Every one of our presenters offers this their service pro bono. However, we do provide a number of opportunities for business development. Bernard, this is just another coded way of saying we're giving you exposure, promotion, and marketing, and you're going to do it for free. And there are some people, right, who are living a life in which they are making enough money or a lot of money. We're doing an engagement for free or for pro bono is no big deal to them. But a lot of people who do the stuff pro bono are board members or they're otherwise involved in that organization. And they say yes because there's some other relationship there. Okay. And organizations have to prove that to people over time before they start doing things pro bono. And so know that that's just another, neurotypical gray area coded way of saying promotion, marketing, and exposure. Right? Yeah. No, thank you. Authors earn very little from books. See, Bernard will tell you, when you're a writer, you write a book because it's in here and it has to come out. You don't write a book because it's going to make you a millionaire, because it won't. And every author in the world knows that. Those folks do not make their monies off of the books themselves. They make their money off of other stuff. So let's be realistic about the actual profit space we're talking about, right? I mean, we really just have to be honest with ourselves. And I want you guys, it's gone on for very long. I want you guys to know that what I'm saying here today is You have value, and you get to demand the global currency for value, which is money. Again, not decided on upon by you, but by the global community many moons ago. And so we need to really think about that, and we got to talk about it, and we have to live what we talk about, right? It's one thing to talk a good game. It's another thing to live the life that you talk about, right? And so I can tell you that I responded and declined, and I've done it many times before. And I am happy, so happy to help any autistic advocate out there who is trying to just learn how to write the response email when you want to say no. If that's where you're stuck, where you don't know how to say no professionally, please let me help you. Please, I will give you 2 sentences that you can copy and paste and use whenever you like to respond. I mean, I really just don't want us feeling stuck. We get to say no, we have value, and we get to demand what that value is. Do you understand? So sit down and spend some time digesting everything I talked about, and know that I am an email away if you feel stuck, conflicted, or confused. I do not mind helping you. I promise. Yeah. So that's what I got for you today, is a big old vent, but it's really not a vent just for me. It's about how we as a collective need to stand up and just say, no, no more. You cannot take, and not give. No more. Shame on you. Right? All right, you guys, that's it for me today on Being Becca Live. I will be back next Wednesday with the next Being Becca Live. And then I think I'm returning to Sundays for Growing Gratitude this week. So keep an eye on Sunday morning for me, and keep an eye on my social media. I'm sorry if you guys are jumping around and missing all of the live of gratitude because I can't find a slot to do it in, but please catch up on the recordings. Don't lose faith. I am trying to keep in touch with you guys about when the actual return day is going to be, and I'm going to pick a permanent day. But I too am in another transition, and it's pissing me off too. So let me figure it out, and just ride with me a little bit on gratitude. Until then, I will see you guys out and about on the interweb. And of course, you can always get in touch with me by commenting on these videos, sharing them, thumbs upping my videos. Love that tons. Actually, this particular video, you guys, if you are watching this, I would love it if you could share this all over the place. I want every single autistic advocate to see it. I want them to feel empowered. This is not about anything else. As many of us as possible need to see this video and learn how to say no. You understand? So if you can share this video with people, I would appreciate it beyond anything. Share it on social media, share it via email, share it whichever way you like. Show it to somebody. I don't care. But we need to be empowered in our own value, and we need to share that with each other, that we can say no. We have that ability. And we can ask for pay. There's ways to do that too. And I'm happy to coach you on that. I just really, I want us all to know that we are stronger than the world thinks we are, and smarter than the world thinks we are. Okay. So that's what I got for you today. If you haven't registered for Building Better Boundaries, which is the September seminar, please head over to my website, beccalaurie.com. Link is in the description below. And head over to the seminar series tab, scroll down to the bottom where the newest one is. And of course, you can register for any of the ones that have passed and watch it right now. Until then, I will see you guys out and about on the interwebs. Please, I love your comments. I love your emails. I love your thumbs up. I love your shares. I just want to grow the crap out of this channel so that the world can hear our truths, right? And the rest of us can find each other. It's really all it's about. Have an awesome day, you guys. Get out there in the world and seek joy, create joy, share joy, all the joys. And I'll see you for the next Growing Gratitude. And of course, next Wednesday for the next Being Becca Live. Bye.